This is the AI News Flash for July 23rd, 9 p.m. UTC. First up, Intel reported second quarter results that beat market expectations across revenue, profit, and forward guidance. Revenue for the quarter ended June 27th came in at $16.13 billion, up more than 25% year over year against an estimate of $14.42 billion. Adjusted earnings per share were 42 cents, exactly double the 21 cents analysts expected. Gross margin reached 41.8% versus an estimate of 38.8%. The driver was AI data center demand. The data center and AI segment brought in $6.26 billion against an estimate of $5.37 billion, and the foundry business posted $5.77 billion. Third quarter revenue guidance of $15.8 to $16.8 billion also sits well above the $15.1 billion consensus. Intel also raised its spending plans. Capital expenditure for 2026 goes up from $18 billion to $20 billion, and the company says 2027 CapEx will increase meaningfully from this year's level. Chief Financial Officer David Zinsner said, Intel has signed 3 to 5 year agreements with customers for data center CPUs and specialized chips called XPUs, adding that customers are not signing those unless they have real confidence around what they're going to invest. Shares rose 12% in after-hours trading and are now up more than 170% year-to-date. With AI spending fears rippling through markets this week, Intel's numbers put hard demand data behind the AI server chip story. Second, President Trump signed an executive order titled Securing America's Defense Supply Chains and Ensuring Domestic Acquisition of Critical Materials, formally authorizing the Pentagon to use artificial intelligence to map vulnerabilities in its supply chains. The order directs the Department of War to use available tools and technologies, including artificial intelligence, to analyze contractor acquisition information and identify national security vulnerabilities, bottlenecks, and single points of failure across the defense industrial base. Secretary Pete Hegseth has 180 days to develop policy and implementation guidance. That guidance will require all prime contractors and subcontractors to help map and illuminate critical supply chains for every acquisition that supports or relates to United States national security. Starting January 1, 2027, the department will stop issuing waivers for the acquisition of covered materials. Contractors that depend on unreliable foreign suppliers will be required to qualify alternative sources, and those that fail to do so could face suspended task orders or outright contract termination. AI is now being written directly into how the military polices its own supply chain. Third, a new Deloitte survey finds that most corporate boards are operating without any rules governing their own use of AI. The survey covered corporate secretaries, in-house counsel, and other governance professionals. It found that 51% of boards lack rules and guidance on AI use, and 47% do not facilitate AI in their work at all. At the same time, 25% have no standardized AI tools but still permit technology use, and only 8% use company-approved AI tools for committee processes. While 77% of boards held briefings or education sessions on AI in the past 6 months, 10% took no steps at all to increase their AI competence. Deloitte concluded that use for board-level purposes seems to be comparatively new, uneven, and still maturing. Where policies do exist, they focus on security, confidentiality, acceptable use, legal considerations, and record-keeping. The governance gap leaves companies exposed to legal liability and the risk of leaking confidential information. Fourth, researchers at the National University of Singapore have developed an AI method that extracts hidden rules from microscopic data to predict how materials behave at large scale. The work is led by Associate Professor Qianxiao Li of the Department of Mathematics. The approach identifies hidden variables that capture the collective behavior of a system, then predicts its large-scale evolution without simulating individual particles, which sharply cuts computational cost. The results were published in Physical Review Materials under the title Scalable Learning of Macroscopic Stochastic Dynamics and presented at the International Conference on Machine Learning ICML 2026. Test cases included biological population models, simulated alloys with more than 500,000 atoms, along with fluids, particle assemblies, and polymers. The key result is that the model trains only on small system simulations, yet accurately predicts the behavior of systems far larger than anything it saw during training, Applications include energy-efficient electronics, advanced alloys, and materials discovery for the energy and manufacturing sectors. Fifth, the Fairfax County School Board in Virginia has approved restrictions on generative AI use by elementary school students. The board approved 3 measures. Elementary students are banned from using generative AI, preschool and kindergarten students are banned from district-issued tablets and laptops, and all students are prohibited from using personal electronic devices during instructional time. The board also directed the superintendent to deliver a comprehensive inventory of AI in use by January 14th. A related plan on how devices will be stored passed unanimously, with 1 abstention. Board member Matteo Dunny said that students should not be an ungoverned test case, while the district tries to figure out what is already in their hands. Beyond corporations and governments, school districts are now writing concrete rules for how generative AI enters the classroom. That's all for this AI news flash.